Oh, golly, huh? How about this? Huh? Things are not so good here in Mammoth Land. My goodness. What a bizarre a turn of events. I never thought I'd be wistful for the days of the loser point, but here I am. So, coming off of 3 straight loser point games, the Utah Mammoth. The Utah Mammoth get crushed at home, third game in 4 nights as they play the Vegas Golden Knights. And VGK, man, really, really, really looks superior in tonight's game in just about every way. So you got to give credit there. Jack Eichel, obviously a tremendously good player. Scott Bartlett, who is Logan Cooley's agent, he also represents Jack Eichel. So there's that. And also, in my opinion, I think Jack Eichel is like one of the better comparisons for what I think or hope Logan Cooley can become. So there's that. He was tremendous tonight. He had a lot of skill, ability, and class out there for the Vegas Golden Knights. So the Knights absolutely dominate 4-1 tonight over the Utah Mammoth. If you are tuning in tonight, my name is Keith Shirts, and appreciate you checking us out, even in times where it's really, really not good, not pleasant to be a Utah Mammoth fan. I run things here at Hive State Hockey. We have a few analysis videos. We have a lot of videos if you want to see highlights from the past season. You can watch those here on this channel. We also do a lot of these post-game shows. And so here we are tonight. If you're making a return visit to checking out After the Buzzer, I congratulate you on your exceedingly fine taste. Wow. I mean, wow. What a disaster, huh? I mean, just a disaster. I was just making sure the stream was healthy there. It seems like things are all right. Just a total and complete ridiculous performance tonight. Nate Schmidt gets the goal for the Utah Mammoth. A good little shot. He held up. He sent it at the net. He found a way to get the puck to squeeze through. Otherwise, Jack Eichel was fantastic. He had 2 goals. He had an assist tonight. He was really good. 5 shots on net. Won the majority of his face-offs. It was just a really, really complete performance tonight by Jack Eichel. When he was on the ice, it was terrifying every time. So it's just one of those things. He finds Braden Bowman, that last goal that was scored on the assist. That pass was so good. And beyond that, it just was a good example of Dmitry Shimashev being a rookie. He was really locked into, he was watching Jack Eichel go to work, and Braden Bowman did a nice job of going straight to the net, getting on that weak side, coming underneath, and then on the inside of Dmitry Shimashev, and Shimashev was just barely realizing that Braden Bowman was there when Eichel got that puck on his stick, and it was just an easy tap in. When you play with Jack Eichel, you can get some really easy goal opportunities. Other than that, the second period was a disaster for Utah. Those 3 goals they give up. Ben Hutton scores the other goal for the VGK. But yeah, it was about Jack Eichel, and then just the other part is just like there's just zero guile right now to that offense. I mean, Utah's offense is so poor, unless they're playing Buffalo and they rack up a bunch of goals, right? You can see I have on the screen there that this month is just not going good. 2-5-3 in the month of November. We got a tough finish coming. We got to handle the New York Rangers when they come into town on Saturday night, and then on Monday we got Vegas again. So all of that is just it's not looking great for the old Utah Mammoth right now. Losers of 4 straight, and again, I mean, to be philosophical about it, again, 3rd game in 4 nights typically tends to be a tough scenario to get wins in. They were not good in those scenarios last season when they played 3 games in 4 nights. Here, I'll pull up my spreadsheet real quick. I'll give you what that looked like last season. Here, let's open it up right now. So last season in the 3rd game in 4 nights, they were 5-6-1. They only got 11 points out of a possible 24. So that's a 4.58 points percentage. I don't have it updated right now for this season, though I could look it up relatively quickly. 3rd game in 4 night, the game at Edmonton. I think they won that game, didn't they? No, they didn't. They lost that game. So 3rd game in 4th night was against Edmonton, and then the 2nd time this season, Vegas. So they are 0-2 this season, and then in 3rd game in 4 night scenarios. And then as it relates to the adversity of being in back-to-backs, just to do that quickly, they played at Winnipeg. That game at Winnipeg, I believe they dropped. They did not. They won that game. So the second half of a back-to-back, they won at Winnipeg. They lost at Toronto. They lost at Ottawa. And now they lost, got an overtime point against San Jose. So they are 1-2-1 in the second half of the back-and-backs, and 0-2 in the 3rd game in 4 nights. So that's how they're doing on rest this season, and they were not very good with rest last season. Most teams in the National Hockey League are not good when they're deficient on rest to their opponents. So that's how those things can be. It's just one of those things. Sometimes the schedule dictates what's going to happen on the ice, and there's no question about it. The disappointing part is while it was the 3rd game in 4 nights tonight, Vegas came into the game. They were playing with the same amount of rest. It was literally equal. They had a game at the exact same time as we did when we played San Jose on Tuesday. So, yeah. Anyway, Vegas, they looked good and complete. The other thing I'd just say is this team, as they play this month, thank goodness they had Buffalo on the schedule, right? They're 2-0 against Buffalo. They're 0-5-3 against everybody else. So, yeesh. 10 games into the month, 20 possible points. This team has come away with 7 out of 20. That's obviously not a pace that gets you into the playoffs, which is right where they were sitting there. So it's a demanding scenario because you take a look at where they're sitting. We know that if you're in the playoffs on Thanksgiving Day, your odds of making the playoffs go significantly. If you're not in the playoffs on Thanksgiving Day, then it's a long road. You have a mountain to climb. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as it relates to that. So they got the Rangers at home. That's Saturday. On Monday, they got Vegas. And then they play Montreal on Wednesday. Thanksgiving's the next day. They travel on that day. They go and play at Dallas, which is going to be a disaster. Then they have a back-to-back the next night against St. Louis. And that's how they finish this month. So 5 more games. Rangers are playing great hockey on the road right now. Obviously, we just saw how things went with Vegas. Montreal, a dynamic young team who can give you lots of problems. We saw the difficulty that we had with them earlier this month on the road. And then Dallas, for heaven's sake. So It may get uglier before it gets better. It's one of those, they really got to find a way to pick off one of these games here. The Rangers, Vegas, Montreal, or at Dallas. That is really where it is. If we're looking to break the funk at St. Louis on the second game of a back-to-back, sitting on a 8-game losing streak, I don't like that scenario. I don't like that spot. And then you're off to San Jose again, play a third game and fourth nights with traveling 2 time zones. Like, that is another bad scenario to kick off the month of December. So tough part of the schedule right now, really tough part of the schedule. And, they need to find a way. They've got to find a way. During this 4-game homestand, they've got to look better than they look tonight. One goal. Are you kidding me? One. They are really struggling. In the 8 games they've lost, they have only been able to generate 16 goals, so they're averaging 2 goals a game in losing efforts. Obviously, the game at Buffalo, they won 2-1. The game they won at home against Buffalo, they scored 5. So across those 2 games, 7 goals, right? Across the 8 games they lose or get loser points in, they found our way into 16 goals, period. They just aren't scoring enough goals. They are not getting themselves into high danger scenarios. They are not getting any of the puck luck goals. They are not getting anything in on deflections. They certainly aren't scoring on the power play. They're really putrid. They're the worst power play unit in the month of November. And, if you're bad on the power play, that can correspond directly with being a losing hockey team. And that's exactly what is going on. In the early part of the season, it absolutely was the case that they were good on the power play. And then they had a 7-game win streak. So I'm not giving up on this team, but as things currently stand, it's pretty bleak. It's pretty ugly. Pretty ugly for the boys right now. Okay. Yeesh. So that's the main thing that I would just say is I think it's important for us to remember that typically speaking, playing the third game in 4 nights is a tough spot to get a win. Playing Vegas is tough. They've got a lot of talent on that side, but at some point, Utah's talent has to have the talent too, because there's some talented players on Utah. When are they going to show the skill? When are they going to show the talent? It's really frustrating. And they're going to say, because if you look at the underlying numbers, if you go to evolvinghockey.com, you look at the underlying numbers, like their Corsi for percentage is pretty good. Their possession numbers are pretty good. They're, top 10 in the league in terms of driving play and having those things in place. They just aren't putting the puck in the net. And so you could say, well, that's a function of not getting any puck luck. But I think it's a function of the way that they're choosing to play hockey. We've harped on this the last 2 times we've been on. But in my opinion, I really do not like the approach of this team right now. It just feels like they are not playing with speed. They are not playing with confidence to go at the net. And they certainly aren't playing with an edge. They're not playing with any toughness. I don't know what's going on with Jack McBain. I thought that was a decent signing in the summer when they went and decided to extend Jack McBain. But Jack McBain, for what he was, I just was hoping that when they decided to make the choice to sign Jack McBain, that he would be sort of like a Tom Wilson, and he would do what Tom Wilson has done for Washington year after year, been close to 50 points and been an enforcer, like a real enforcer, and provide support to your skill players. Well, right now, they got him, stowed away down there with Lawson Krause and Michael Carcone. It's not really happening. And I think they'd say, well, that's the best line that they have right now. Well, but are they scoring? Are they doing anything? No, they're not. But you signed McBain to this big 5-year, $4.25 million a year contract. And, we're really, really not seeing a whole heck of a lot out of that. He's not enforcing things on the ice. This team is getting bullied. They're not finding a way to play with any sort of smarts right now, and then their athleticism is going out the door because they're just constantly getting beat up. They don't do any of the hitting themselves. They aren't making anyone's head spin. They just continue to try to do cross-seam passes and try to set up one-timers. And, it can work. It can work. That was like as close to a one-timer as you're ever going to get from Nate Schmidt. But Nate Schmidt's goal came off a cross-seam pass. He held up. He sent it at the net. And, again, it was sort of a soft goal. It was kind of leaky by the Vegas goalkeeper, but at the end of the day, that is how they got their goal. And it just has to be more attacks at the net. It's just got to be more attacks at the net. They've got to do more to find ways to create, havoc in front of the net and have people, screening and doing things to, one of the things that they really need to do is if they're going to hold up, like I got thinking about their systems. I've been very critical about the decision to not try to attack on the rush, but instead try to do it from the cycle. One of the things that I think has got to happen is that when the puck gets dropped back to the defenseman, those defensemen need to hold on to the puck like a beat longer, because when the other team is coming back, they contract in and they get into that slot. They've got two. They do the 5 on the dice concept, right? 2, 1, 2. They've got their 2 people helping out the goalie down low. They got the 1 guy defending the slot, and then you've got people trying to take away the angles near the top of the circle. But you keep it nice and compact. And when a team has it nice and compact like that, and you hold up, and you're Clayton Keller, and instead of going to the net, you hold up, right? If you want to go down low and play it low, then what has to happen is you can't have 4 guys be stationary while one guy who has the puck, usually Cooley, and he's near the goal line and he's working down, he begins to draw one of the defensemen, and then he'll either kind of ring it around the boards and hope that Schmaltz will go battle on the boards for it and go grab that and then kick it out to the point. Or he'll just pass it back to pass it back to Keller, and then Keller will go back to the blue line. And then what our blue liners are doing is they're kind of instantly just kind of winging it to the net. And what I guess what I'd say is I'd like to see them take another beat and allow the defense to go from their compact look to become stretched out a little bit further. Because you're not going to want the defenseman to have the time to pick his spot and to sit there with the puck. You want to try to poke it away and get out there and give a little token pressure. You don't want him to allow the time for other people to skate around and draw people away from that, because that becomes a scary scenario. So almost no team allows you to pass it to the blue line and then doesn't have one of their forwards, one of their wings, come out and try to put a little pressure and see if they can force you back out of the zone. So what's happening is if we're getting it back at the blue line, I think we're throwing it to the net a little bit too quickly, with too much haste. And we're not doing a very good job of getting those shots kind of through and into the middle. That's one. They're getting blocked. And it's hard. It's really hard. It's a skill to try to figure out how to get a puck through the blue line towards the net, for a chance for a deflection, chance for a rebound, or any of those things. Those get blocked quite frequently. And when we're playing wide, we're just setting up another board battle. So again, we skate into the zone, we hold up, we let our teammates come in. We either go down low and then ring it around the boards, and we got a board battle with Nick Schmaltz, or we kick it back to Keller. Keller goes back to the blue line, and then Sergachev or Marino or any of the people playing on that right-hand side, they'll get the puck quickly. DeSimone get the puck quickly and just kind of wing it to the net, but they don't want it to get blocked. They don't want to potentially have it be blocked and set off a quick move through the middle, because when they come into the blue zone, across the blue line, when they're in the attacking zone, the two defensemen tend to go wide and play closer to the boards. And so if there is a block shot, there is the opportunity for a player to burn them up through the middle and get a breakaway. So you got to worry about that. So you really don't want it to get blocked for a lot of really good reasons. But when we're throwing it in from the blue line, we're not even close. We're not challenging at the net. Then it goes behind the net, and we're back to Nick Schmaltz trying to figure out how to board battle and get the puck. And I'm just picking out Nick Schmaltz, but this is what's going on for all the lines, right? If it's not Nick Schmaltz, it's Dylan Guenther fighting for it. If it's not them, it's Lawson Krause over on that left-hand side. And if it's not them, Yamamoto maybe. Brandon Tanev. So I don't know. I don't see a lot of reason for the cycle to be working the way that it's working right now. I don't know that I feel confident in saying it's good process, it's just bad results. Even though the underlying metrics are there's a lot of possession, there's a lot of offensive zone time right now for this team. They're just not generating very many high danger chances. They're not generating opportunities to score in front of the net. Last season, Barrett Hayton finished the season as one of the top 5 players in the National Hockey League in individual expected goals. In 5-on-5 especially, he was very valuable in individual expected goals. One of the top players in the entire National Hockey League in terms of the amount of goals he should have scored. Now, part of this is his finishing. He wasn't even close to getting as many expected goals as he recorded, with the Nerds. But his actual goals are always way lower than his expected goals. This season, Barrett Hayton is not getting a bunch of expected goal numbers like he has in previous campaigns. He is not getting opportunities to make deflections in front of the net. He is not having opportunities to get rebounds. There's just not a whole lot of things for Barrett Hayton to do right now in the offensive zone. And it's incredibly frustrating because this is a good player. He's got some ability. His shot isn't super great, but he can get into areas and cause problems and have opportunities to score. And at this point, I'm just looking for opportunities. Opportunities. All right. Hey. Hey, I appreciate those who've checked in. I'm just taking a quick second here to check in with the chat. Dale, my guy Dale, thanks for checking in with us, Dale. If it's your first time here, appreciate you coming in and hanging out. Yeah. Well, I think it's hard because when you're the state media, like they are at KSL when they broadcast the games themselves over there, I think the main thing is that they want people to listen to future games, and they want. It's harder to sell a team that's struggling, that's 2-5-3 in the month, that's on a 4-game losing streak, that's not scoring very many goals, averaging less than two goals a game. So there's that. And, look, everything is not coming up roses. This is a bad scenario for this team. They're not playing good hockey. They're just not playing good hockey. There's nothing about, I wouldn't say the goalkeeping has been particularly good. I mean, 84% save percentage is not high enough. It's not high enough to have a winning hockey. It's not high enough. So that's what they are for the month of November. They're 0.84, or excuse me, not that bad. 0.84. It's not good. Yeah, this game sucked, Car Wash. Thanks for coming back. It's good to see you again, Car Wash. I think we are tanking. What are your thoughts? Well, it sure feels like they're tanking, doesn't it? The thing is I'm not sure what they're going to tank, for at this point. Because they had the 4th pick in the draft last year. They've got Cooley. He's locked up for a bunch of years. Like, they already have, an assumed, first-line centerman. You've already got your top 6 is pretty much locked in, right? Keller, you're going to have for a few more years. I guess, it's not all locked in, but 4 of your 6 are pretty locked in, right? For the next few years. It's going to be Cooley, it's going to be Gunther, it's going to be Keller, it's going to be Peterka. So you're missing another center potentially. Is that Barrett Hayton? He's on a restricted free agent negotiation that's going to come up. The other one is Nick Schmaltz. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. So the question will be, what are they going to do about Hayton and Schmaltz? It would be almost unbelievable if they didn't re-sign Barrett Hayton, just given the advantages that restricted free agency give you. Schmaltz is an interesting case. He's been really pretty solid through 20 games, but the question is do you want to go for that? I guess we were playing for a wild card spot at least. Listen, I think they're still in the playoff chase, but they cannot have this home game stand with the Rangers on Saturday, Vegas again on Monday, and then Montreal on that Wednesday. If they go winless through that, I think they're out. I'm being dead serious. The law of American Thanksgiving in the National Hockey League is super, super strong. There's a decent correlation. If you are in the playoffs on Thanksgiving Day, you've got a very good chance of making the playoffs. If you are out of the playoffs on Thanksgiving Day, there's a very good chance you're not going to make the playoffs. It's just, for whatever reason, it's one of those things that tends to happen. This team is currently out of the playoffs. They had a 7-game win streak in October. Crazy. It was the best of times. And now, the worst of times. So yeah, I don't know. Listen, I don't know. I think it's got to be schedule. You got to consider schedule. 3rd game in 4 nights. Vegas is good. This isn't they aren't bums over there. That's a good team. Vegas is a good team. The hard part is that, the Islanders are not super great. Anaheim's on their way up. They're having a good season. San Jose, it looks like they're taking a step forward, but they're I'm just surprised that they're kind of almost at level footing with Utah already. And to get the loser point against them, that was lucky. We were lucky to get the loser point against them. But here we are. I mean, we've played 21 games. We've got 23 points. San Jose's played 20 games. They got 21 points. And what? Geez, the last I checked, they were winning tonight. Let me check on that one more time. They are tied. So them and the LA Kings are in overtime right now. I mean, if San Jose, so they're going to pick up another point. They're going to be 1 point behind. 1 week away from Thanksgiving. I'm gobsmacked. Gobsmacked. That the gap between San Jose and the Utah Mammoth 1 week before American Thanksgiving is that we will be within 1 point or tied before the night is over. That is incredible to think about. Looks like Anaheim is going to lose to Ottawa. So there's that. But Anaheim, I mean, being in the lead in the Pacific is, like, honestly a little wild. I mean, Edmonton is the sleeping giant. They're behind Utah right now. Like, they're coming. Like, if you were to look at the teams who aren't in the playoffs right now, who could maybe take out and maybe knock out one or two of the teams, it's like, well, Minnesota is a team you'd still think about, Utah, and maybe Edmonton. But, man, what a crazy, crazy time. All right, well, I don't know that there's much more to say. I think I've ranted enough here. I don't understand why the offense can't seem to score right now. And the biggest thing for me is like the reluctance at this point to just go at the net. That is shocking to me. Why aren't they going at the net? At this point, you just want to create more havoc and chaos in there and see what you can do. So it's not time yet. 4 losses in a row is sustainable. I mean, the good news, 3 of those losses were loser point losses. So not all is lost. I mean, they had 8 potential points to get from those 4 games. They scored 3. So that's not, horrific. And again, 3rd game in 4 nights. But here they are. Rangers, Vegas, Montreal. Next 3 home games. They have to come away. With at least 3 points through that stretch. Have to. If they're going to really solidify their chances to do playoffs, they'll come away with 4, 5. I'm not going to dream of 6. This team is not playing good hockey. They're not getting adequate goalkeeping. They're giving up too many high-danger chances. They aren't getting good breakouts of the zone. They aren't creating on the rush. If they do create on the rush because they did a good job through the neutral zone, they aren't going to the net. They're holding up. So, I don't know. The argument, the starry-eyed argument is good process, bad results, because having possession is good, and so that's what we'll look at. Dale, I agree, but it doesn't seem to be common sense that the coach should be yelling at the top of his lungs, go to the net and shoot the puck. I mean, I will say, I mean, it's like, I like, amongst all the people who do broadcasts that are associated with the Mammoth, Dominic Moore is my favorite guy, and it's not particularly close. I really like Dominic Moore. And I think he's the most fair about what's going on. And Dominic Moore, Dale, was very, very clear when he was like, Logan Cooley has got to shoot there. And then he had another one. Clayton Keller has got to shoot there. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Dale. They got to get more pucks on the net. They've got to try to take more opportunities to score the puck. Having the puck on your stick is great, but the point of having the puck on your stick is to attack and get to the net. Otherwise you can just do, you can do the neutral zone trap. You can get your lead and then have the puck on your stick, and then it looks great, right? But I don't know, I just don't get the cross ice pass, saucer, like just over and over again. We're going to try to go, cross seam pass, sauce it, and hope we can get the one timer that just electrifies and goes, whistling past the ear of the goalie and into the back of the net. Like, that is a difficult play, and it seems like the only play that this team ever tries to score with. And I just would love to see some dirty dangles. I'd love to see some just awesome rush opportunities, good hard shots off the pads, which then come out for a rebound that's followed and with a shot, to an out of position goalie and all that. Not seeing a whole lot of that, are we, Dale? Not seeing a lot of that. So, all right. Hey, I think that's it for tonight. If you've enjoyed tonight's show, I invite you to give us a little like, give us the thumbs up underneath. I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. Also, if you're new here, if you've never found this channel before, go ahead and subscribe to us too. We'd appreciate you. We come on and try to do as many post-game streams as we can after the buzzer. Tough spot right now. This will be more fun when they're playing better. No question. And they are going to play better. And they're young. And hockey is a game where you're streaky anyway, but especially when you're young. And they are coming off of a 3-game and 4-night stretch. And there we go. That's my attempt to make excuses for them. Big, what's become a very, very important and pivotal game for Utah coming on Saturday against the New York Rangers. I don't know what other levers Andre Torini can play. So you're going to switch up the lines again? Even more? I mean, do you go back to trying Jack McBain in the top 6 like they did at the beginning of the year last year? Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know what suggestions I have for this team. They just have to fight their way out of it. So that's it. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. That's it for tonight's After the Buzzer. My name is Keith Schertz, and this has been After the Buzzer here on Hive State Hockey. We'll see you again real soon, and you stay out of trouble.